Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Dave Guerra here. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Thanks for watching. It's Monday again. Monday, August 5th, 2019. That's right. That's a little ding telling me it is Monday, August 5th. How are you? How are you? How was your weekend? One hell of a weekend we had as a nation. One hell of a weekend. I'm not going to get into it because, again, I'm just another voice in the crowd, and my opinion is my opinion. And your opinion is wrong, but hey, that's why it's called my opinion. So whatever. So anyway, we're not going to get into that now. That's not that. Let those that are talking talk. And before it happens again, though, something needs to be done. That much is true. That much is true. Not. I'm not going to go to the extremes, but I'm saying something needs to be done. A little proactive. Let's be a little proactive. And that's where that is. But you know what? Let's use a lot of common sense. Definitely a lot of common sense. Let's use a truckload of common sense. And let's not. We'll need emotions. Definitely need some emotions. But common sense needs to prevail. Common sense needs to rule the day. And we'll get through it. We'll get through it. We've gotten through other stuff, and we'll continue to go through stuff. There'll be bad stuff in our lives. It's going to happen. It will continue. But as long as we're looking at it, and we're facing it head on, and we're facing it and knowing that, hey, just like there's good in the world, there is evil. And those evil people will continue to do bad things. They'll just come in different forms. And but so long as we know that, hey, good will prevail and we will do something positive, then we're going to be good to go. So that being said, that's all I've got to say about that. Leadership in sports and leadership. That's what Monday's all about, sports and leadership. Well, again, because of the recent events, it kind of clouded everything else. And people were using their platforms, which is kudos to them, using their platforms to say and call for change and call for that and this and that. And I get that. That's what they have their platforms for. However, how much validity am I going to give someone who has armed bodyguards wherever they go? So again, that being said, moving on. So it's NFL season. We're NFL camps. NFL's full swing. Last week I talked about the holdout, the non-team player, the individual, not the team. And he's still a holdout, so I guess they're going to keep moving. He's going to be one of those guys that, like, at the last minute, he'll show up at camp, and it'll be like, oh, as if nothing happened. Oh, we missed you. Glad you're back. Come on, you're the starter. You're the starter. What's wrong? Get out there. You're the starter. And that's what's going to happen because that's just the way it is. It's all the other guys that busted a gut to get on there, to hustle, to grind, to possibly maybe take that position should it possibly maybe arise, knowing fully well it's not going to arise because, this guy is not going to miss out. This individual is not going to miss out on his time in the limelight. Moving on. So now we're looking at the coaches, the leadership, the coaches. An interesting article title called Freddie Kitchens Fires Back at Former Offensive Line Coach Bob Wiley after critical comments. Freddie Kitchens is the Cleveland Browns head coach. He was fired after he's the head coach after Hugh Jackson or Huey Jackson or just Hugh Jackson or H Jackson, whatever. They got rid of him. And I mean, they were on an uptick. They had like 2 or 3 wins in a row. So it's not too shabby there for the Browns. But now this guy comes in, Freddie Kitchens, and well, is that good or bad? Anyway, we'll talk more about that as the season progresses. But what I want to get at is that he's publicly criticizing other coaches, other individuals that have been there before him. And I get that. I understand that. You want to say this is a new time, this is a new era, this is a new way of doing things. And you're criticizing your predecessors and those that were there before you. Be careful it doesn't come back to bite you in the ass. It does, and it usually does, and I kind of guarantee it will for this guy, for this Freddie Kitchens individual. It will come back and bite him in the ass, especially all the negative stuff he's been saying about the previous coaches. All he has to truly say is, let's leave that behind. We got to go forward. My mind is focused on the present, on the future, on kickoff here, and like 4 more weeks, and 4 more Sundays, and we don't have time to step back and look at the past. We have to keep moving. We have to keep driving forward, and they want to pick up and continue with that momentum. And I'm talking about the Browns. Definitely need that momentum. Who knows? They can be contenders. They've got that Baker Mayfield character. Now, he came in and he showed them what he's got. So obviously he can play. However, usually it's the head coaches that are going to go around spouting off and blaming already start blaming people and pointing that finger. And that's where we have problems, because again, what it's going to sink into the current team that, hey, well, wait a minute, this coach is already blaming the last coach, the last coaches or offensive coordinators and offensive coach and player coach or skills coach, and it will affect them. It will affect them because, again, it's like, well, this coach is already set in his mind for failure. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to also buy into what the coach is selling. And why? Because the coach has that kind of power. His job there is to motivate, inspire, get people moving, kick some ass if he has to. But he also has to drive them in the right direction, and the right direction is winning. But if he's already fallen back and he's already talking about the past, folks, that's not a leader. That's a whiner. If all they live in is in the past and they're looking to the past to justify their actions that may or may not already happen, then they've already lost the game. That's not a leader. That's not even a bad manager. That's just, I don't even know what to call it. Because again, you're in that position of leadership and you are already pointing fingers and calling out names and calling out people and just basically just being bad. Just being bad. How does a leader change? Well, for one, right now, it stops today. He's got daily press conferences. It stops today. I know the media loves to incite. I know the media is going to latch onto this story, and they're going to pick at him until he delivers more of what they want to hear. But this is where the coach has to rise above. He has to first go back to the team and say, look, I know what I said was wrong. Here's what we're going to do. Here's where we're going to overcome this, and we move forward. Then he goes out to the press conferences and says, enough's enough. We're talking about the team. We're talking about today. We're talking about today's practice and how it's going to impact us on week 3. And then tomorrow, how it's going to impact us on week 7. And then the day after that, how it's going to impact us on our bye week. Because what you do today will impact what's going to happen in the future. You can't change the past, but you can only work on the future. So again, now's the time for that coach to step up and say, you know what, enough's enough. We're not going backwards. And folks, any good leader, every good leader knows that going forward is the only way to go. So, that being said, listen, have a great evening. Have a great evening. Hug your kids, kiss your spouse, whatever. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Have a better day tomorrow. And I will talk to you then too. It's in the news.